Welcome inside Black and Gold, folks. Steve Geller, Jeff Nowak, coming off day 4 of Saints training camp. And you know what, Jeff? After the day off, getting back into practice mode, I felt like the offense kind of looked how I felt. Just
ugly?
Ugly and not.
Sorry. Sweaty and gross? Is that what you're going for?
Disinterested and just not, I don't know. It was a sloppy day out there.
I'm sorry. That was me. I shouldn't have done that. They did look a little ugly, but that's not what you meant. And you never look ugly, Steve.
You're felt it out there man. For sure. I was in total grump mood. Like, I can't believe we got to be at camp today. And coming off the day off, I felt like that was a big bummer for even, like I said, the Spencer Rattler definitely had the roughest day we've seen so far.
And it was hot as Satan's underpants out there, man. Like, whoo. Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of we're recording this on Sunday after practice, so it was kind of a weird day. It's a weird recording. If you obviously notice, I have a different background. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have house guests. So I am like shoveled down into the basement. I'm trying out this new mic setup, which is what I'm planning to do in California. So hopefully it sounds good, which will make my life easier out in California. But yeah, it was funny. Like I was leaving this morning and they're like, where are you going? And I was like, I have to go to practice. And they're like, they practice on Sunday? And like, yeah, NFL teams do not observe holidays or weekends. They just do their job. And we have to go do that as well. But yeah, it was hot. Fans were out there. I mean, Justin Reed always talks about his salt tablets and definitely needed those today. I am going with the Topo Chico as my my drink of choice here. I probably shouldn't be drinking because I'm incredibly dehydrated, but we'll see if I get through the end of this episode. But
I'm sure you've downed plenty of water before this, so you're good.
Yeah, that is true. I have been chugging water since I got home. But all right, so this episode, this is going to be kind of a quick cold open, and we're going to dive in to the first segment. Just going to be kind of a rundown of our notes. We'll have some audio clips. I haven't had as much time as I want to kind of break them all down because, I got kicked out of my office. But we're going to have more episodes throughout the week. Tomorrow is going to be the first padded practice. So I wanted to get kind of a catch-up episode in the books. And then we can come back and really start making some actual observations once actual football starts getting played. So first segment's going to be kind of a long observation segment. Second segment is going to be our one-on-one interview that we did the other day with Rashid Shaheed, one of my favorite players of all time that I've covered, like the most gracious person I've ever met. Just someone who went to Weber State, got kind of ignored because he went to Weber State, and now he's just grateful that anyone wants to talk to him ever. And you can just kind of get that. And I think he's blossoming into a star. So we're going to hear from him, talk about his first week, how things have been going for him, how his offseason went, his recovery, all that good stuff. From there, we're going to hit a break and then come back and hand out some superlatives from the first week of camp, like a high school yearbook, but for training camp, best dressed, best interview, the Houdini Award for who did the best disappearing act over the first 4 days, stuff like that. But, Steve, is the Kellen Moore camp era everything you hoped it would be?
So far, there's still tons of questions about the offense that are really interesting to figure out for me, because still the only constant I know for sure is Alvin Kamara. I don't need to see him at all to do anything to know what you're going to get from him going forward. But the quarterback battle is still a mystery to me. And I'm definitely not counting out Haener. I know that's might be ridiculous to say. And everyone seems to have it just that being Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. And I know that's the likelihood of what's going to happen, but Haener hasn't looked as bad as I thought he was going to come into camp. I guess that's the point there.
No, and we'll talk about the QB competition and Haener. I will say he did have that one day with first team reps, but it was the day all the veterans had rest days, and then the other 3 days he's been very much third team. So I think that's pretty telling. But we're getting to all of that. I just want to hit a quick break, come back, dive right into that notebook. This is Inside Black and Gold. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you haven't rated and reviewed, please do that. If you're out at camp and you want a card, please ask me. I had a very successful first giveaway for the cards, and I have a gigantic pile still left to be given out.
Football Santa Claus.
I'm not even kidding. I have this gigantic pile. The first podcast listener who comes up to me and says, "Hey, I listened to the podcast. I want a card. I'm gonna give him this because I have like 3 of these for some reason. It's a signed Kendra Miller card, which is hilarious to me because Kendra just signs his name with a K. It's like
that's a good one, Jeff. That's definitely an arrow. I think a stock arrow up, even though everybody's been down on Kendra.
He's out there. But yeah, I'm going to reward the first podcast listener who has the stones to come up to me and ask for it. They're going to get that card. And if that's already gone, I'll give you a different one. But I've been trying to figure out something to do with this just because I don't need 2 of them. That's what I'm going to do. I just decided that in the moment. But anyway, yeah, the other day I just started handing them out and like 20 kids came out of the woodwork. And it was just like, here you go. And they had a great time. I did have someone hand me back the Jake Haener card. They didn't want it. Poor Jake.
That's rough.
And I was like, man, like if you go up to Jake and say, hey, I have your card, will you sign it? He's gonna sign it 20 times. You'd be your best friend for life, man. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Anyway, this has been my new thing. But all right, let's hit a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna dive into our camp notes from the first 4 days of many. Keep it locked on Inside Black and Gold. And we're back on Inside Black and Gold. Jeff Nowak, Steve Geller. This is just going to be kind of an amorphous run through our camp notes. But we do have to start with the quarterback battle. I know, Steve, you mentioned Jake Haener. Yeah, he did get his day with the first team. The other 3 days are with the third team. Take from that what you will. They go inside and do a developmental period. It's Jake Haener throwing those passes, not the other 2 guys. So, I think it's very clearly 1-2 and then a third option who, if things go a certain way, could be in the mix. But right now, it kind of feels like, he's part of the equation, but not the main part of the equation. Where do you land on the quarterback battle right now?
Well, it really hasn't shaken out with any clear winner right now. I don't think if you had to pick one today, you could tell me Shucker, Rattler, and I'd be like, okay, I understand your rationale for it. I haven't seen that real separation yet. I mean, we're getting into pads on Monday, so we'll start to get a little more of the story there. But I don't know, each one you've seen positives and flaws from, and we'll see if they're just working out the kinks right now, or if either one can get a little more in tune because things are just out of whack right now. But we just started training camp.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention is Spencer is the only one that has not gotten third team reps. He has been first or second team every day. He has been first team twice. Now they've only gone through the rotation once. So theoretically, Monday, the first day of pads, should be Tyler Shuck's day. Here's the thing. Today, Spencer got 26 reps. 26. That's a lot. I think Tyler got 14.
And too many of those plays he had were not good.
Yeah, I thought that he had a solid day, and then the end, like the last 6 reps, which maybe there was some fatigue going on, were not pretty. He did throw an interception. He's thrown 2 interceptions in camp. One was to Quincy Riley when on a play that he said he was trying to throw away, and he just didn't get it far enough. Today, it just looked like he didn't read the linebacker dropping. Danny Stutzman made a nice play on the ball. 2 new
additions with 2 picks right there. There you go.
Yeah, two draft picks with picks. It's a good play by him. I think that's what there's always that level of, we're talking about the quarterback so much that every good play by the defense, we tend to look at it as a bad play by the offense. Right? Like we look at it as if the Saints offense is going up there against just like if they went out there in week 1 and threw an interception, we'd be only talking about Spencer Rattler throwing the interception. But there's some level of, Danny Stutzman just went out there and made a good play. Now, should you have thrown the ball? Probably not. But you still got to give the defense credit. And I think because it's a quarterback competition and we're talking analytically about how'd he perform, we ignore the fact that the defense is out there and they should be. Like I would be more worried if these two young quarterbacks were out there dicing up the veteran defense you have out there all the time, right? Like that's not what you want to see either. So there is some level of that. But no, I thought that Spencer had a really good day 1. He had a really good day 3. He did not have a great day 4. He was fine. He did not have a great day 4. There was a couple nice throws. He made a couple nice throws to Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson with a touchdown. He's able to put the ball places that, you're just like, wow. But then I feel like there's a level to his game that he trusts his arm too much. And it's like the inverse with Tyler. Whereas Tyler, I think, has been risk averse to the point that it's like, he could be more aggressive. He has the type of arm where he could be more aggressive, but he's trying to be safe with his throws. And I wish you could just like combine those two into one and kind of hit that happy middle ground of like aggressive without being reckless. Because that's the thing. Like sometimes I feel like Spencer's being a little reckless with his throws. And sometimes I feel like Tyler is not being reckless enough with his throws. But, Tyler had one really nice throw today that, is a good sign for him, which is like my main gripe has been he seems to be like a tick behind on his reads. Things are coming out a little behind, like a little slow. And when that timing is off, everything kind of falls apart. And when you're not trying, you're trying to avoid mistakes, you're trying to limit damage, then you're just not going to make the throw and you're going to pull it down. You're going to check it down. And it's like, that was there. The throw was there. But you didn't get it out in that window, and it didn't happen. Well, today there was a really nice, in sevens, there was a really nice play. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming out of the backfield on an angle route, gets upfield. Tyler just rifles it in. And a few things. One, this is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, on a good day is what, 5'8"? So he's a small target. And you have a timing route where you have to wait for the running back to clear the linebacker. You got to hold the defense with your eyes and then just rifle it in. And it was just a nice play. And that's the type of timing throw that I think is a good indicator that he's kind of getting more comfortable with his surroundings, with the pace, with manipulating defenders. Now, he didn't complete another pass the rest of the day. Maybe I jinxed him because I tweeted like right after that throw, like, it's a really good throw. But there were a couple plays, like there was Kevin Austin who was covered like a blanket by Quincy Riley. He probably could have given Kevin a chance. Instead, he kind of threw it over him. It was more of a throwaway than a throw to, right? And it's just an example of like, I could deal with a 50-50 ball there with Kevin Austin against Quincy Riley. Later in the day, I think it was Cedric Wilson going against Ugo Amadi. Similar situation. I think he threw it. He was trying to be too safe with it. Like, I'm okay with Cedric Wilson in a one-on-one situation against Ugo Amadi. Go give him a chance. Instead, it was kind of airmailed out about. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think both guys kind of need to get closer to the middle. But I will say, like, when it comes down to it, if I'm starting a rookie quarterback, kind of like the Broncos last year, what I need to make sure happens is they give the team a chance to win the game. And the way you don't give the team a chance is by taking a million sacks, turning the ball over. Like, if all you do is avoid negative plays, you're going to give yourself a chance. So, I still think, just based on how everything is gone, Spencer is kind of 1A in this situation. But I don't think he's moved away in this first week, if that makes sense.
Yeah, both quarterbacks for me have just been inconsistent. You've seen good, bad, and the ugly from them at times. The biggest thing, I just want to see more decisive wow throws. That hasn't been something where, you're like, damn, that was an NFL throw right there. And it's just 4 days in. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and I would say they haven't really opened up the offense a ton.
Right, exactly.
I think they're holding back a little bit. Like, we've had 2 red zone days. One of the reasons you're having red zone days is to limit the steps, and they limit the amount you're asking people to run, because I think they want to have the longer practices, the padded practices. They have very distinct benchmarks that they're trying to hit. And Ted Rath and his team are very intentional about all that. Like, none of this is by accident. Kendra Miller was talking about that day. Like, they're tracking everybody's steps. And so when you hit a mark, it's like, all right, come out. Right. And, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like when a player false starts, he comes off the field, it's not like, oh, just reset and do it again. Like, they want him to kind of sit with it. And it just adds a level of accountability. Like, there's a lot of that stuff going on. And we're aware of maybe 10% of it. But like behind the scenes, there's a lot of conversations about why things are being done and how things are being done. And we've heard that from several veteran players, right? Like we've heard DeMario talk about it. Alvin talked about it. Like the time efficiency that the coaching staff is paying attention to and constantly like being aware of is appreciated by those veteran players, right? Like they don't want to have their time wasted. Like Cam Jordan's played in this league too many years to have his time wasted. They want to know that when they're being asked to do something, there's a reason. And I think that's a big part of how you get people on board, right? With your situation. There's a lot of stuff that's happened. I think today was interesting because DeMario Davis wasn't out there. It's the first real absence we've seen. Like there's been no injury absences outside of Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau. We did see Taysom Hill working off to the side today. Right. Foster has been out there. But like there hasn't been a single injury absence, knock on wood, right? DeMario wasn't out there today, but it was an excused absence. He was absent for some other reason. It was not a health issue. And what that provided was a chance for Danny Stutzman to kind of rotate in with first team reps. And like I said, he had that interception. I thought he played really well. Like he's been all over the place. It's like when you're a young player, you gotta make the coaches notice you, right? Like you're not going to be handed anything. You have to go out there and force them to look at you and force them to be like, well, we got to get this guy more run. And that's what he's done, and I wouldn't say he's the most athletic person in the world. He's definitely not a guy that you would put on like the Mount Rushmore of athletic linebackers, but he does seem to have like a really good instinctive first step. And that can make up for a lot at the linebacker position. Cause you're not necessarily matching coverage a lot of the time. Like you're not matching a wide receiver all the time, but you do need to get there. Like you do need to be in the spots. And he does seem to do that. And that's a good sign for a young player.
I feel like Stutzman's name's going to come up when we do superlatives.
Yes. We haven't talked to him yet. I hope we talk to him soon because I think he'd be a good interview as well. A few other things like Alvin, I feel like has been getting a lot of run. Like I think more so than I would expect is like we've seen Alvin get a lot of touches, a lot of catches, a lot of carries. And maybe that's a let's front load it type thing.
I think so.
He was asked about, do you want to get 300 carries, like 300 touches like Saquon? And he kind of joked around. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll call him and see how he felt on Sundays. Cause like Alvin has never been a guy that really cares how much he touches the ball. He just wants to get the ball in situations where he can actually make an impact in the game. Like he's not a guy that's going to sit there and be like, I only got it 10 times. I want to get it 20 times. He's sitting there and saying, if you're going to get it to me 10 times, these better be 10 premium touches, right? I don't want to get the ball 20 times if 10 of those times is just like, yeah, get a half a yard and we're going to see what happens. Like this is not the point in his career where you should be trying to do that with him. And that just doesn't make sense. And that's what drove me nuts about how he was used. It's like he didn't run routes nearly enough of the time. You didn't get him out on wheel routes. You didn't do creative things with Alvin, screen passes, stuff like that I think is very much going to be a part of this offense.
Yeah. I'm not saying that in any way that Alvin Kamara is Saquon Barkley, but he can do similar type things for this offense. And I think that's one thing not talked about enough, how exciting of a year that Alvin Kamara could have with Kellen Moore running the show here. And I know immediately you're going to get slammed with, well, this isn't the Eagles offensive line. I get that too, but they're still pretty stocked well with talent. I'm interested to see how Kellen Moore can best utilize all of it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about being the same guy. It's about skill sets and what are you capable of doing and how are you capable of impacting games. And Alvin is that type of running back. He's, you put guys in categories and you have like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, those types of players, Bijan Robinson. And I put Alvin there. Like he's that type of dynamic guy.
Yeah.
He just isn't talked about that way because the Saints have been terrible the last 3 years. But, a few other things that, Kendre's healthy and that's cool. Like, I appreciate it because I like Kendre. I think Kendre has a chance to be a player in this league, and he just has to go out there and do it. I asked him why he changed his number, and he did not have a reason. He was just like, yeah, I got hurt in 25, so I'm just trying to move on. And
that's enough a reason for me. I like it.
Fantastic.
Right.
Because that's exactly what I want. I just want you to go out there and pretend the last 2 years didn't happen. I want you to go out there and do everything right. And he did talk about being healthy, and I do want to play that clip for you right here.
like I feel normal now finally. This is the most healthy I've been ever since I've been in the NFL. It's just kind of been like sped up process kind of since I've been here, so I never like was 100% like all the way, but like I said, I put in some work in the off season and got my body back right, and I feel great right now.
Would you say that kind of goes back to the knee injury coming out of college? Like it just was never kind of a clear runway?
Yeah. It was never like clear, just like day one, and I've been like through it all. It's just been kind of like one thing and then another, like it just kind of kept going.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because like that's what I've been saying in terms of one of the issues that Kendre has had is he came out of college dealing with a knee injury, didn't have a real offseason. It was like he's constantly just pushing a boulder up a hill, right? Like it's never just, hey, I'm going from point A to point B and I do not have an obnoxious hurdle to clear or something that's like not football that I'm dealing with. And I just want to just get to the season and do it in a way that's the right way. And so that was year one, and it was constantly like battling one thing or another, then the ankle, and then that. He goes in a last season, he gets the ankle kind of sorted out, it's the hamstring. And then it's another hamstring. And then it's a concussion. And then it's another, it's just one thing after another.
Yeah.
And I think he just needs like a 3-month stretch where he's healthy football player and he can just go do football player things and stop thinking about the health for once. And I think that's why you change the number. That's why it's like, okay, I can get back to being that guy. That guy is still there, but I just need to just flush it. And so hopefully he can do that. And I think he's looked pretty solid. Like it's tough to tell running backs. I always get questions about running backs and I never really have a good answer in camp because it's tough. Even when the pads come on, like you're not really getting tackled. So you can't, it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, he would have broken that tackle. I don't know. Would he? And so like, I think the preseason is going to be big for Kendre. I like the quarterback battle. I feel like we can have a decent picture of how it's going throughout camp because we're seeing it day to day. And there's only 2 guys that I think we're really talking about. But with the running backs, there's like 5 where one day it's Velus Jones, one day it's Cam Akers, one day it's Devin Neal, one day it's Kendre. One day it's Clyde, and it's like they can't all make the team. So I think that's what like the preseason games for them is going to be very valuable because like I'd say you're keeping 3, so you got 2 spots up for grabs, and 2 of those guys have to go win them.
Hopefully, new head coach because we know that those like Dennis Allen never shied away from maybe taking a little knock or jab against Kendre Miller in the media, and with a new head coach and a new running backs coach, hopefully they can help keep him on track because, I mean, I hate to say that it's all cliche with we always talk about, you see the flashes, but we've seen Miller perform in NFL games. We know what he can do. It's just we haven't seen it enough for long enough time.
Yeah, DA was so mean to Kendre. He hated that guy. Like I think DA like years like he lost years of his life because of Kendre Miller, like the stress level. But clean slate, man. It's a clean slate.
I'll take the new number, new attitude, and new mindset, hopefully, from him. You really don't hear much from Kendre, and he's not this really long-spoken kind of guy. But I feel like you're getting a lot of truth from him too. He's not hiding stuff. You know what I mean?
No, he's honest. He's not BSing
it's
you.
Not
like he's telling
player talk.
Yeah, like he's not a very loquacious guy, but he is going to be honest with you, and that's all I can ask for. Like, I don't need you to write me some kind of dissertation. Like, I'm okay. You don't even want to write your last name on a card. You just write the K, man. I get it. But as long as that's like legit, I don't mind. Like, that's your personality. I get it. A couple.
You should ask him about that. Be like, man, I got these cards signed from you. Are they legit? It's just a K.
It's just a K. Anyone can write a K, man. But a couple of things. So Charlie Smith, you don't win or lose a job, any competition. You don't win or lose it in a week. Man, he's making that statement feel close to being inaccurate because he has had a rough go over the first week of practice. He's 5. So both guys have taken 10 kicks. Blake Grupe, Charlie Smith have taken 10 kicks. all of them inside of 50. So they are really kind of honing in on short kicks. These are the kicks you have to make. These are your 90% or better kicks, right? Like you can tell me like, okay, you one of them, you misjudged. Maybe the hold was bad. Maybe you didn't get it right. Like, okay, that happens. Like the mistakes happen. Charlie is currently 5 for 10 on these kicks. He missed from 41 and 48 today, both from the left hash, both pushed left. He missed twice the other day, both right and then another one left. He's 50% on kicks inside of 50 yards. I get it. You got a cannon. You can kick it from 65 yards out. Fantastic. That's not going to win you an NFL kicking job. If you can't make those kicks, you are not an NFL kicker. And, you know, it's like, and it's not like you're trying to get rid of Blake Grupe, right? Like Blake is 9 of 10 on those kicks. And the one he missed was kind of a hilarious moment because the other day on what, Saturday?
Yeah.
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Like we're out there and he goes out to start kicking and suddenly it's a torrential downpour for like 5 minutes. And it is exclusively while he's kicking. And he did miss one. Moment. I think it was from 49 and he kind of pushed it to the left. But it's like, and even then it's like, okay, well, I could deal with that. I could deal with 9 to 10 and your one miss was in the wind and rain when this freak kind of storm popped up. So I don't know, like Charlie better lock in soon or we're not even going to get to the first preseason game before this is decided.
No, I'm definitely more interested in the punter competition right now than the place kicker competition. That moment alone right now for Grupe stands out as one of the wow moments. I said I didn't really see from a play from a quarterback yet that had that effect, but you got to, like you said, but 50 and in, you got to be way more consistent. And whoopity do if you can make one from 70 yards if you're not consistent from the distances where I'm going to be making, in a real live game. When's the likelihood you're lining up for anything that's going to be 65 yards or above? I mean, you may need it, but you need your guy to be more consistent from those, I guess, gimme distances, you would say. And I mean, I don't know, 50 yards and in has to be almost gimme, right? For an NFL
at kicker? This point, yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. If you line up from 45, that's got to be 3 points. And like occasionally you'll miss, but like a miss needs to be the rare thing. And you'd be like, wow, he missed. Right at this point, it's like, so I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm still not counting him out yet because we're still so early in this process. But this could not have gone much worse for him.
I just feel like, Grupe's got that nice solid lead, and I don't see him giving that much ground to him. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like Blake's gonna be solid. Like at worst, he's gonna be solid, and his misses are gonna be from 55 and out. And even then, like I feel pretty confident he's gonna make them a high percentage of the time. So he's gonna be tough. Like at the end of this thing, you're gonna be like, how are we deciding it? How are we picking one over the other? And it's gonna come down to percentages. It's gonna come down to situations. And right now, that's not even a debate. So we'll see. 2 more guys I want to mention. Julian Blackmon has been splitting reps with the ones with Jordan Howden. I think that is very much a short-term competition because Julian Blackmon is your starter. And as much grief as I gave him about that Colts game from a couple of years ago, like you watch him out there and he looks legit. Like it's becoming more and more amazing to me that the Saints lucked out and were able to bring him in after Tyrann Mathieu's sudden retirement. Like, how often is it a situation where like a legit safety who's young and has 60 starts, double-digit interceptions, 300 career tackles? Like, he had an interception today off Jake Haener indoors. I mean, there's no video of it because they didn't let us record indoors. But like, I mean, when I was watching it, it took me a second because I had to like remind myself in real time who was the defensive back and who was the receiver, because I think it was Chris Tyree. I think it was 89. Who was like, he was in decent position and Will just beat him. Like he played the ball better. Like it wasn't the ball was underthrown or this or that. Like it was, this is a 50-50 ball. And the safety won. And that's impressive, man. Like that's impressive. Brandon Staley was giddy. He was yelling weird shit that I don't even understand. he was like, I've been waiting for that for 5 years. Like, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to draft him out of college. I don't know.
I just didn't know if it's like he was waiting for somebody to make a play today kind of thing.
No, I think it was like he like wherever he was
in the past.
When in 2020 he was with the Rams, I think, and maybe with the Chargers. I guess he'd be with the Chargers. I don't know. Like he probably was like high on him coming out and didn't get him, and because that happens. So I don't know. So I was impressed by that. Like he's your starter. He's going to be the starter. I don't think it's really even a conversation. The other guy I want to mention, Chase Young, I think has looked really solid. And he's a beast out there. Like, I mean, I've seen him get his hands on balls in the passing game, dropping into coverage. He blew up. Like one of the reasons that Spencer looked so rough over the final few reps of practice today was Chase Young was blowing up every play in the backfield. Like the last play, he was just like, he had to throw it away because Chase was standing right in front of him. Like, just like, okay, you gonna do something? I'm here. And when Chase is standing in front of you, he's basically blocking out the sun. Like, again, not the most loquacious individual in the world. We talked to him today, very short answers, but man, that guy is, I mean, we talked about this last year. Like you see him out there and you forget, like, holy heck, he's a behemoth.
He's another one though, too. You're also getting real answers from. You're not getting any BS.
Yeah. And they're not the most in-depth answers, but like you're getting answers, right? Yeah, for show. He likes to say for show, which I appreciate because not everyone throws for show into interview answers. Like, and it's a solid one. I wish more people would say that. Like, yeah, for show. Although the funniest Chase Young thing that I ever can think of is like when he was on with Mike Detillier after he signed his extension, and Mike asked very long questions, and I can't remember what the context of the question was, but he talked for like 90 seconds and then he like threw it to Chase, and Chase was like, oh yeah, for sure. And
back to you, Mike.
And I could tell Mike was just sitting there like, oh, okay. Like he was like, oh, he's going to expound upon that. No,
I said what I had to say. That's it. But I think that signing got criticized a lot too for the Saints, and I just don't feel like that's a bad market value for a guy that we've seen apply pressure to the quarterback. I know that's the knock of not getting home and getting the sacks, but he's there speeding up the clock, at least you could say, and it's still really young in his career. I don't know. I still, the arrow's still up for me on Chase Young.
You bought Chase Young's prime for $17 million a year.
I don't have a problem with that, right? I'll take that chance.
Like, that's how you got to look at it. Because I don't really care what he did last year. I care what he does this year. And I care what he does for the next 3 years, because that's when you're paying him. And I mean, you need an elite pass rusher, and he is an elite pass rusher. But, the other guy that you paid, Juwan Johnson, I think has looked really good. I'm very high on Juwan Johnson. I'm very high on Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
I'm like, cautiously optimistic about Chris Olave.
Yeah, I mean, you more concerned of the head issues?
I just think that like it's hard to say like what he's going to do because we don't know with the health. Like I don't have questions about his ability.
Yeah,
I have questions about his availability, and like I don't have those questions about like Chase played in all 17 games last year. Like Juwan played in all 17 games last year.
I don't get the sense, at least early though, that Olave's playing scared. You know what I mean? He's not.
No, he's not. He's not.
We're not in pads yet either, but he hasn't looked hesitant.
He's not. I wish he would play a little more scared, if I'm being honest. Like, the one thing I want Chris to do is to stop freaking jumping for the ball over the middle of the field. Stop it. Just train yourself to not do it. If your quarterback is throwing the ball high over the middle of the field, say, enjoy your pick, because I'm not getting my head taken off to rescue your dog shit throw. Okay. Like my career matters. My availability matters. I'm not leaving my feet over the middle of the field to go catch it. And he's too good of a teammate to not do that. But it's like, I just wish he would stop. Like if I put my hand up and I can't get my hand on the ball, I am not leaving my feet. Like that's what I wish someone would tell him.
I don't think he's built like that though.
He's not, and I give him credit for that. I do, but like it scares me every time I see it in practice because I'm like, he's going to do that in a game, and that's how you get hurt. It's like, talk about hospital balls. Like, yeah, sure. Don't go after the hospital balls. Like,
he wants to get
let them
ball.
happen. Anyway, that's my thing. Like, and he's never going to do that. And because he's too much of a competitor to just be like, oh, I can get to it, but I'm not going to try because it's dangerous. He's not. He's never going to do that.
He's still looking to prove a ton of shit too to get his next deal.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if those throws went for interceptions, the quarterbacks would be a lot better about not throwing those balls. If you rescue them and catch them, then you are not training the quarterbacks to say that's a bullshit throw. You can't throw that ball and expect your receiver to go get it. Now on the sidelines, in the back of the end zone, fantastic. I'll go get that ball all day long. I'm not doing it over the middle of the field. Anyway, that's a Bush League take by me. It's a very non-player take, but I still feel that way because I want him to survive. I want him to be available.
I don't know. It's you look at the opportunity, like the knock against the Saints wide receiver room is definitely height. You don't deny the speed and the route running that these guys have. Yeah, I'm high on Olave, Shaheed, and Cooks, and I might be completely being a homer there because I'm still have no idea who the hell is going to be throwing them the ball though. But I do think those three are a pretty nice trio. I know there's so much talk about the non-contested catch guy, but I kind of like the three that the Saints have as your locked in your top three guys right now.
Yeah, the guy I've been least impressed with is Cooks. I haven't seen him do anything
except starting fights.
He did start a fight. Well, I don't know if he started the fight. He did escalate the fight.
He definitely reacted in the way he swung. Yeah. He swung.
Clearly not a lot of Oregon State pride. You'd think there would be some kinship between the two Oregon State guys. But no, there was like
a Chauncey moment. I wish it was mic'd up so I know what was said there.
There was a throw today that it was like, I told you, it was like, here's the thing. If a quarterback is trying to protect you by throwing you a low ball over the middle of the field so you can get down, you got to catch that ball. Right? And there was a throw from Shuck today that was like, it wasn't a perfect throw, but
right.
You got to be able to catch that ball and go to the ground. He dropped it. And come on, man. You're the veteran. You got to make those catches. That's why you're here. You got to be trustworthy. You got to be, the hands that I can trust in those moments where I need 5 yards. I'm throwing at 6. And I just need you to catch that ball, get to the ground, first down, keep the chains moving. That ball can't end up on the ground. So we'll see. I don't know what his role is going to be, but I expected him to be more of the lead dog in instances, and I haven't seen him be that yet. And he has some intrinsic value of hey, you're a veteran, you can help these guys. And Rashid has talked about that, like he's following him around like a puppy dog, trying to learn everything and be a sponge. And there's value there, but I expected there to be more. Wow, look, Brandon Cooks is still Brandon Cooks, and I don't know. I'm starting to wonder.
Hopefully, what we were told by the Dallas color analyst, the fact that mentor or leader role that he takes on in the locker room proves to be more than I guess what you've seen on the field for him right now. Yeah,
I hope you're right. I hope that's true. But all right, this is Inside Black and Gold. Jeff Nowak, Steve Geller. We'll be coming back. We're going to play you an interview that Steve and I did with Rashid Shaheed, a one-on-one. There was a couple practices ago, but it's still good. Still counts. Who dat? Go Saints. We will be right back. And we're back on Inside Black and Gold. Jeff Nowak, Steve Geller, rolling through a post-Sunday practice edition of Inside Black and Gold. The last non-padded practice before the first padded practice. So the closer thing to real football before we get to real football. I know the linemen are excited. It's not a coincidence we haven't really talked a ton about the offensive linemen, defensive linemen, because it's just I'd love to tell you, Trevor Benning looks fantastic. all I can tell you is Trevor Penning looks like he wants to hit somebody. There was a play today where he ran, he was 20 yards downfield, I oughta. And he was like, I'll stop. But the defense is ready to, Carl Granderson is knocking people to the ground. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to. Sure you did. You're just frustrated, but we're getting there. Padded practice tomorrow. A guy who's always fast, whether he's in pads or not, is Rashid Shaheed. We talked to Rashid, and here you go.
Shaheed, man, how's your offseason been doing? How's everything going for you? Coming back from injury and getting ready for a new year, new team.
Yeah, new team, new year. Feels great. We're ready to go. Feel really healthy going into the season. This is the best I felt going into a season for sure. So I'm ready to win some games.
You sure have looked it out there. I mean, I was impressed right away with, OTAs, minicamp, all that. I was like, doesn't look like a guy that's had, knee surgery right now. Coming into this year, though, looking at this offense, you got a new head coach with Kellen Moore, who just won a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
A lot of exciting stuff in store for New Orleans. What's been the biggest difference for you now with a guy with an offensive mind leading the way?
Yeah, no, so far I'm loving it. I feel like he has a great understanding of offensive schemes and how to break down defenses, and he's had so much success as offensive coordinator. So how can you not be excited? And since day one, he's emphasized how excited he is to coach us. So how can you not go out there and just want to fly around and compete? We know that he's going to take care of us, and everything is going to work out great.
I see you hurdle a Gatorade cooler today.
You did see that. That was not scripted. That was definitely not scripted, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, every now and then you'll see players I think that guy could be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And when they hurdle Gatorade coolers in the scope of practice, it's just something special. But obviously not a lot of games last year. It was a shortened season. What I felt like I saw from you was kind of development as an all-around wide receiver. I go back to that Falcons game in particular, and obviously there was a rough moment in that Falcons game on the punt return. Yeah. But the rest of that game, it felt like you were just catching balls at all three levels of the game. And I talked to Keith Williams, and he agreed. He felt like he saw that from you. What has been that process for you of identifying things in your game, and what are you trying to add to your game every year?
Just exactly that, the element of not just deep, but, intermediate and medium route running. I feel like that's a big part of my game that hasn't been, displayed quite yet, but I know that I can do it. And, that will only, help me further my success in this league.
Is a guy like Brandon Cooks really helpful in that regard? Because it seems like that he came in with that kind of, speedster at Oregon State, and then he just kind of developed over the course of time, and now you don't think of him as maybe the downfield threat, but he's kind of an all levels guy.
Yeah. No, just coming in and seeing how he works every day, you understand how a guy, turns the table, not from just being a speed guy, but to all around guy, and having so much success through 12 seasons in the NFL. It's crazy to see, and he's been nothing but a help in the receiving room. He gives so much insight and so much knowledge, and I love having him around.
Biggest buzz about this black and gold bunch going into the year has definitely been the quarterback competition. Yeah. Curious from the wide receiver standpoint, is it difficult trying to get acclimated to all these different guys throwing to you, or is it just see ball, get ball kind of thing?
Yeah, no, it's definitely see ball, get ball. As receivers, that's our job. It doesn't matter who's behind center. We got to make the plays for them, and whoever is back there on Sundays, we're going to be confident, and they're also going to be confident, and we're always going to be put in the right situation. So I'm super excited, man. They all these guys, quarterbacks, have come out and competed at a very high level. So we know that whoever's going to be back there is going to be ready.
How does it feel for you going into this year? It's like the 1-2 combo everyone's been talking about. It's you, Chris Olave. You're like one of the main dudes now.
Right. Yeah. No, it's super cool. Being an undrafted guy. I always got a chip on my shoulder every year, and having a guy like Chris. We know that. DBs are always going to be on their toes trying to cover us, and adding B Cooks and all the young guys we got, man. We have a young, talented group, and I'm super excited for this season, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of growth.
What was this offseason like for you, obviously dealing with the injury? It was pretty early in the season, so at what point did you feel like you were 100%, and did your process change at all getting ready for camp coming off the knee injury?
Right. I felt like my process had to be a little bit different, coming off the injury. I had a really long off season, but I feel like, I spent a lot of time out here with our trainers and in California, just working to get back. And I felt like around March is when I started to feel 100% and just kind of back into the flow of things. And I was ready to, attack OTAs. And by the time I got back, I felt 100%. And, just kind of maintain from there.
Yeah, and just being able to, obviously new coaching staff, a lot of changes, but Keith Williams, wide receivers coach's thing. how nice was that to just be able to come into a new system but have that continuity with the coach?
Yeah, no, it's great. We love Coach Williams, man. He's like family to us, and he keeps it so real with us each and every day. And he builds so much confidence in us. And yeah, just to have all the new guys around, but to keep him, I feel like was the right choice, 100%. And to have all these new guys around him, and it just works so perfectly with him. And I think it's going to continue to show, and we got to continue to grow with him.
Have you bulked up at all? I feel like every year you come in, your shoulders are just a little bit bigger.
For sure, yeah.
Walking up to the podium, he's like,
right.
This is the guy that doesn't miss the gym.
Yeah, no, 100%. I did gain add about 10 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
So yeah, I've never thought I would play at 190, but here I am.
Is that where you're at now?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel great at this. I spent a lot of time, making sure I can still move at this weight throughout the off season. So
don't lose that speed either.
Can't lose it. Yeah, that's a big part of my game. So yeah, feeling good.
Well, besides all that pump and iron and getting ready with the quarterbacks, I know you got to work with QBs this offseason as well.
Yeah.
What are some of the things like away from football you got to do leading into this training camp?
Right. Yeah. No, we spent some time out in Oregon and Arizona and California with the quarterbacks, and it was great. It was always fun to spend some time off the field as well, doing activities, team activities, and I feel like we made a huge step since last season with the team, camaraderie and just, getting closer with the guys. It's been a really fun off season, and now we're just ready to show it on Sundays.
Rashid, thanks so much for the time today. Best of luck this season. Look forward to seeing you more in camp and also come the regular season, not too far away. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
All right. Again, that was Rashid Shaheed chatting with that man, Steve Geller, and myself. And one thing I mentioned to you when Rashid was talking at the podium was like, guy's not afraid of the weight room. Like every year he shows up and his shoulders are like slightly further away from his head. Cause like, he's just, you don't have to bulk up at the NFL level. Like some guys choose to do it. I think there's a fear that maybe you'll lose your speed. Maybe you won't, maybe you'll lose some of that fluidity that you need to get in and out of breaks. I haven't seen that at all. He looks sharp as ever. I think that, if we're ranking players based on like superstar potential, he's at the top of my list because I think he's like on the cusp of becoming a superstar receiver in the NFL. And it's really just about opportunities. Like you go back to that Falcons game, you're talking like 8 catches on 11 targets, like 83 yards, two carries for 14 yards. He missed the touchdown by like 8 inches. Like Taysom Hill vultured it like no one does quite like Taysom Hill. Like I think that this is a 1,000-yard receiver. This is a guy who is a matchup nightmare that you cannot ignore over the top. And if once he becomes like that threat over the middle of the field, that threat where he's coming back and catching the ball and then using that space to get out, like, I don't know, man, like Chris Olave is incredible at creating separation. Rashid Shaheed should be a catch and run guy. And it's like, we just haven't seen it. We've seen like the deep shots, but I think like you can get him the ball in so many ways. And we've only like scratched the surface of what that is.
Yeah, another one that with Kellen Moore at the helm, having some fun. I'm interested to see what he does more with Shaheed. We've in practice. I don't know if we've ever seen a jet sweep before at a Saints practice.
And there's been like at least 1 or 2 a day. It's interesting. And you know what I think we're going to see in this offense more is in the Clint Kubiak version of this offense, which we really didn't see a ton of. We saw for like 6 games. And like when I say that, I mean like you only saw the offense with all the pieces for so many games, and when you saw it, it worked. But in that offense, it was very much like Rashid's the deep guy, Chris is the underneath guy, and they're not overlapping responsibilities in a way that's going to confuse the defense, right? Like the defense knows what to expect. They probably still can't stop it, but they know what you're going to try to do with them. In this case, I think what's going to make this tandem even more difficult to guard is that they're both going to be able to do basically anything on any play. Like you're going to give these guys options and their skill sets do overlap. Like Chris Olave has talked multiple times about like, hey, I want to get downfield. I want to use that speed more. And Rashid is like, hey, I want to do more underneath. I want to be more of a complete receiver. And when you have both of those guys and the defense can't just like lock in on like, well, we need to keep two guys over the top because we have to cover Rashid over the top. And then he just stays in and catches a bubble screen and he's just gone for 25, 30 yards. Like that's a game changer. And then when you do the same thing with Chris, that's a game changer. Like you can use those guys in the same way and just say, pick your poison, right? Like, oh, you want to double up on this guy? Okay, we'll change this around and we'll have Rashid run that route instead. And so like, I think that's what you're going to get this year. I'm hopeful that's what you're going to get because we've seen Chris Olave on the jet sweeps, right? Like we've seen both these guys doing everything. And so I don't know, man, like I'm going to be on a fantasy football podcast in a couple of weeks and like, I'm going to give people very strong advice about like, Rashid's going to be on the board in like the 10th round. Go get him. Like you will regret not doing that. And
from time to time, you'll get some special teams points from him too.
Yeah. Oh, if you have a league, like I'm in a league that rewards return yardage.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
That's the case. Like he's a cheat code. Now, I do wonder if you are going to limit his usage on special teams. I
would. I really would. I mean, I don't know who else can step up and be the lead person for that bulk, though.
Pettis.
Yeah, huh?
I mean, that's why you kept Pettis around. Now, is he a guy that's going to make the roster? You're going to try to throw him on this practice squad and elevate him for 3 games and do it that way, maybe. But like, I think, especially in a punt return game, I don't want Rashid just going out there to fair catch the ball.
No, right.
If you're in a plus return situation, like they're punching from the shadow of their goalpost and they're just trying to get it as far as possible and they're not going to be able to angle it or set up a coverage, like that's a different story. Like, yes, he should be out there for those like premium, or if you're in a situation where you just need a punt return or a kick return, even like the opening kickoff of the game. No, I don't need Rashid Shaheed out there. If I'm down 7 with a minute to go and starting at the 50 versus starting at the 30 is a massive difference. And yeah, I'm throwing Rashid out there because he's my elite return guy, but I'm not doing that for every return rep because he's too important to me as an offensive player now.
Yeah, that would definitely make sense to lighten the workload in the special teams area. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see how much more we see coming up this week when they're in pads of just some of the things Kellen Moore has in mind. I'm with you too, going back to Juwan Johnson. People should be excited about him knowing the history that Kellen Moore has in loving using the tight end. So
yeah,
he'll be earning that paycheck this year if he's targeted as much as I think he will be.
Right. And that's what I said when they signed him. It was like, you're freaking out because you're looking at a guy who got 60 targets last year and is like, wow, we're paying him so much. But yeah, because you're add 40 targets to that number. And suddenly those, like, you're going to feel like, wow, that's a good deal. And yeah, like Juwan looks healthy and sharp as ever. Like, I like both those guys as like my top 2 guys. Like everyone's going to talk about Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara as they should. Those are the highlight names. I think Juwan Johnson, Rashid Shaheed, when it comes down to it from a fantasy football perspective, are going to be those guys. Like they're going to be league winners because you're going to get them in the 10th, 15th round. And in reality, I do think they're also valuable.
The problem, as you know, when doing drafts locally, like with New Orleans folks, all the Saints players go too early.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm in a league with a bunch of people from like California and like I know I'll get Rashid Shaheed. I know it.
Right.
I could take him in like, I'll probably get him in the 15th round. Now, yeah, if I was drafting against my neighbor, different story. But no, like one more thing, and then we'll move on. Like the physicality Rashid is playing with in this camp is different from what we have seen in the past. Like he had a catch today where it's like, it was a great catch. The ball was left up behind him. He just went up and got it. Like, and he's able to do that better now because he has that bulk. He's up to 190 pounds. Like that's a big bodied wide receiver. Like that's not just like, oh, he's like, that's even just any wide receiver, like a 190 is like a legit wide receiver. And like, that's like, what is DK Metcalf? Like 210?
That dude's a monster.
Well, right. And that's who we think. Let's see. I don't know. I might have changed him. DK Metcalf. Wait. I see him. Let's see. Okay, 230. So different. 230. That's a bad example. Trying to think like a Jamar Chase. What's Jamar Chase? 201, right? And we don't think of Jamar Chase as like a skinny, light receiver. Like he's a thick, strong receiver. And that's a 10-pound difference between those
Raider
two
pride.
guys. What?
I said Raider pride because he Rummel Raider.
Oh, I was like, wait, he doesn't play for the Raiders. Rummel. Jamar.
I'd have a whole wing at Rummel if I was them of just Jamar Chase stuff.
Yeah, they probably should. But all right. Anything else there before we can move on?
Man, we talked a lot, obviously, with the wide receivers and quarterbacks, a little bit with the running back. But when the pads are on finally this week, that's another position. There's the running back. I mean, behind Alvin, we're hoping that we finally see something from a guy in Kendra Miller. But there's a lot of folks been creeping, right now that you're like, all right, I'm interested to see a lot more from that room, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Like Clyde is a guy that I want to see more from. Cam Akers is a guy I want to see more from.
Especially with Clyde, how dangerous he is in the pass game.
Yeah. Well, him and Bayless, like I think there is a role to be one of a guy that's just a good receiver. Just in case like AK misses a game and I need someone who can go out, because that's not Kendre. Like I don't see Kendre as like he can catch the ball. He's not a bad catcher of footballs, but he's not a guy I would qualify as a receiving running back.
Agreed.
So yeah. But all right, let's wrap that up. We're coming back, give out some superlatives for the first week of camp. Best dressed, most talkative, that sort of thing. Class clown, even that sort of thing. Let's do it. Who's that? Who is that? My favorite shirt. It says like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that who has the temerity to suggest they might defeat the Saints?
Who dey?
Who dat? All right. We'll be right back. Inside Black and Gold, baby. Woo! And we're back on Inside Black and Gold. Jeff Nowak here. Steve Geller, a post-Sunday practice edition. We went through all of our notes. We went through the interview with Rashid Shaheed. Now it's time to hand out some superlatives. We were making a yearbook. This would be it. And so let's get into it. First things first, the highlight player. Who has the top highlight of camp to this point in your mind? Let me hear it.
Who top highlight of camp? I'm going with, to cap it off today, is what he got with an interception, but Danny Stutzman's been really impressive. And to me, that interception now just, it's in my brain, I guess, maybe because of what we saw today, but overall his speed on the field has looked awesome. Just a guy that's like a heat-seeking missile towards the ball, and really anxious to see more of him. Like one of the guys I'm most excited about going into the padded practices.
Okay. That's fair. I'm glad you went defense there. It's interesting because as we talk about this, like I'm trying to think back, like there haven't been a ton of highlight plays. Like we haven't seen like a bomb. Like there hasn't been a single like
There hasn't been
shot.
That.
And part of that I think is because they're trying to limit the amount they have guys running early in camp so that when the pads come on, they can do more of it. And so like we haven't seen like, that would have been a 60-yard touchdown but I still think it was on day 3. It was Shuck to Jawan. There was a beautiful, there's a sail route. I mean, it was a levels throw. They had to carry 2 defenders, put it right on Jawan's hands. Jawan made a great catch. And my favorite thing about Jawan in this camp is he's making these fantastic catches and then just flipping the ball and jogging back like nothing happened. And there was one today that he caught from Rattler, and there was a clip that the Saints shared, and he just he caught it, never broke stride, just kind of flipped the ball, high-fived a couple fans, and then ran back to the huddle. He's not.
This is my job, folks. This is what I do.
Yeah, right. It's this is nothing. This is me, and I just appreciate that. I think that's how you know someone's like confident, because they're not even taking time to appreciate like the incredible things they're doing. They're just like, yeah, this is my Sunday. Like, this is what I woke up today knowing I was going to do.
What would you expect? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's mine. That's mine. But all right. Class clown and or best interview. Who are you going with?
Best interview. I mean, saying that for sure. Jake Haener is a lot of fun when he hits the podium.
How we doing?
Good. Better after that.
Hell yeah.
We weren't feeling.
You got to bring some energy. It was hot out there today, man. Holy crap.
Might have been hot if you had a good. Go ahead. All right.
I'm liking your energy right now. We're going to start with him, Ross.
I wish we got to hear more from him. That's really not the case, though. But he definitely doesn't disappoint at the mic. A guy that actually, I think what it is too, I genuinely think he enjoys talking to us, Jeff. That's not usually the case for players with the media. And Jake, I feel like, is like, I can't wait to talk to the media right now.
Yeah, I feel like Rashid's that way too. Like, it was funny because when we were done with him, so he did like a TV interview.
Yeah.
He did the podium.
He did his car wash for the day.
Yeah, he did the car wash, right? And then one of the media associates was like, "Man, you're a trooper. You're good. You're good for a while, you know." And I felt like I never got the sense that Rashid was like tired of it at all. I felt like he would have stayed there and talked to us for 25 more minutes
for sure
if we had kept him there. Like, he just genuinely liked it. And Jake's the same way. Like, sometimes I'm just like, Jake, we don't need to hear from you this much. Like when we talked to him during a mini camp, he was just like sitting there in front of the screens, right? And he was sitting there talking for like 25, 30 minutes. He'll talk about anything. And here's the thing, like, there's value there, and I appreciate it, because like if I actually had questions that I wanted like answers to, and not like these generic questions that you hear constantly that drive me insane. It's like the same question about a different player, like insert player name here, and it's just the same generic answer every time. But like if you ever had like legit complex like scheme questions, he's the guy you should go to. Because he'll answer them, and he'll get in detail to the point that you have to like ask follow-up questions to be like, wait, what does this mean? Oh, what does this mean? You know? And Tyler can be that way too, but I think he's like, he gets a little nervous because he's still a rookie and he doesn't want to give away too much, but he is very genuine in that way too. Like before his podium interview, he just kind of like wandered in and was just like standing next to us, like just a regular dude. And I was just like, what are you doing, man? Just hanging out.
Did you always make sure to ask the Saints Twitter post they had where would you sit on a plane? And it had I chose next to Jake Haener, but because I figured I'd have more leg room.
That's true. Yeah, you definitely have more seating available. But no, that's the answer. That's the correct answer, is Jake Haener. And like, I don't know, like I don't think they mind having him in that quarterback room. I think he's going to be on this team.
Definitely, when you talk about one of the personalities of this ball club, whether he's your starter or does find himself in that backup role, because man, oh man, I feel bad for Hunter Deckers.
Yeah, Hunter is very much just like here to. He's
like, why? Why am I here?
Well, I mean, I don't think we make a big deal out of this. Like, oh, yeah, he must be so miserable. He's not getting reps in training camp. The dude's getting paid. Like, you make money. Like, you make good money just to sit around. He's probably going to end up on the practice squad. You know, you make decent living there. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world to just be able to hang her out and be a sponge on an NFL roster for an offseason. Same thing with Charlie Smith.
To me, it's rough because I don't know if he's even picked up a football.
No, well, they do those developmental sessions, right? we saw the one today because they came inside and did it. But like that's where he's getting some reps, is in those developmental sessions at the end of practice.
I'm going to have a free Hunter Decker sign.
Hey, he didn't play college football because he was not allowed to. So, you know, I'm sure he does not mind hanging around, playing, being the fourth banana on this whole situation. All right. Who gets the Houdini Award for the player who's done the best disappearing act over the first 4 days?
You know, until today when he had a touchdown was Bub Means for sure. I didn't know he existed, along with even, you mentioned Brandon Cooks has been awfully quiet, except for the fist throwing. But yeah, I wanted to see a lot more from, you know, Bub going into this year thinking, if you needed that more physical kind of presence on the offense, he could be that guy.
Yeah, I would have said Bub too, but he did make a nice play today. It was
right.
There. So it wouldn't be fair to say that about him, but like I really want to see more from Bub. But it's got to be Donovan Peoples-Jones, man. Like, is he even out there?
Right.
Like, I haven't even seen him. I don't even know if he's run a route. I haven't seen, like, he has not even appeared in front of me. Like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, I think really I just noticed him on punt return stuff.
Yeah, like it's like he is very much just out there. And he was a guy that people got excited about for like 15 seconds. So I don't know.
He could end up being preseason superstar. We don't know.
Maybe, but I'm just saying, first 4 days of practice, I mean,
crickets.
Invisible. Like if he had an invisibility cloak, I would believe you. Like, I mean, anyway, yeah, that's my answer is Donovan Peoples-Jones. DPJ, baby. I don't know where you are. Text me. Buzz me. Get him a life alert.
Shows up this week with the pads on now.
Maybe. We'll see. All right. MVP of the offense. Go.
I guess the guy we talked to this episode, Rashid Shaheed, has been really awesome to see. And like you mentioned, you have that feel that he could be something more than just a number 2 receiver in the NFL. He has, like you talk about breakout campaigns, fantasy football, whatever you want to say. I think what we've seen, we know he's got the speed, he's got elusiveness, he's got good hands, just that opportunity with more of the route tree. And I think I'm hoping that Kellen Moore is that guy. I think he is to unlock more of it.
Yeah. And he's going into a contract year. So
that's nice too, right?
Well, it's nice for him. It's probably not nice for the Saints because they're going to have a hard time paying him. Yeah, it's tough to pick anyone else. Maybe Alvin, but we just haven't asked Alvin. Like he's been involved. He's been very involved.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Alvin. I mean, he's just. I think we overlook Alvin a little bit just because he's so consistent. Like our expectations of him are so high that when he delivers on them, we're just like, oh yeah, sure, that's what he does. But at the end of the day, it's like, oh wait, but what he's doing is spectacular, So yeah, I'll probably go with Alvin just to be contrarian. So we're not agreeing on it.
Shout out to a Mason Tipton out there.
I was going to say the honorable mention has to be Mason Tipton for his one day. I don't know if he caught everywhere. A pass. I don't know if he caught a single pass in the other 3 practices, but for he had like day. 7 on Friday. Yeah, we'll see if that's enough to give him another free space onto an NFL roster like last year where he didn't play in a single preseason game and he made the roster. All right. How about defense?
I mentioned I gushed over Stutzman already. I'll say, I don't know, the Magic, like we're talking positive or negative here?
Positive. We're not going negative. Come on. It's too early to be negative.
I don't know. I like Brzee early on. I think he kind of has been part of that nuisance up the middle and being a pest, even without the pads on right now. You've seen him just constantly being annoying, which I want.
Yeah, and he's had some clean wins, right? Like you'll see him like just throwing people. And I think he's like developing into like a real kind of leadership type player, which I appreciate.
Oh yeah,
huh? Yeah, I mean it's always funny. Like you get into year 3 and suddenly you're a veteran now. Like you're not a kid anymore. You came in as a kid. Now you're like a real person, like an NFL adult. And like, cause you're at the point where you got to start saying, hey, you got to pay me. This time next year, we'll be talking 5th-year option.
No, he's definitely, dude. I feel like consistently every practice too, you're like, he stands out as someone that's, like I said, just being that pest on defense. Yeah, I agree with you. My guy's going to be Kool-Aid. I think Kool-Aid has low-key had a very, very strong 4 days. And the thing is, like, it can be difficult to identify when a cornerback is playing really well because the ball's not going to him and you only have 2 eyeballs, right?
Like it's physically impossible for me to pay attention to what the quarterback's doing, paying attention to what the defensive line is doing, paying attention to what each corner is doing. Like you kind of just have to pick a spot and stare at it, or, maybe record it and look back at it. But like, it's very, like, a lot of times when you have a cornerback who's locking down, it can fly under the radar. And he's been locking down. Like he had one play today where it was just like, he read it so early and just took it away. And it was just so impressive that, it's like the ball didn't go there. I'm sure his coaches are going to go back and look at it and be like, great play. But like the average person watching won't be like, well, nothing happened there. But like the reason it didn't happen is because he took it away. And there were a few plays like that today where it was just like, he's just locking up. And that's what I need to see from him. Like I need him to have a big year. And I don't think we've been talking as much about him as probably he deserves. And he's been really good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll hear from Kool-Aid soon, because like you mentioned, that corner room is just so much different now. And yeah, it'd be nice to see. I mean, the rookie season was, he had some moments, but nothing really. I can't recall like a real good play that stands out to me from Kool-Aid last year. I think he had a decent rookie season, and I don't know, there's a whole new regime in town too, to see how he fits in Brandon Staley's vision here. But I don't know. I'm waiting too for some more of those wow plays from a guy like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he got picked on a little bit last year, and I haven't seen him getting picked on in camp, so that's a good thing. But all right, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I'm just looking forward. Honestly, it's like the start of the work week. We get to get in pads. I know Coach Moore talked about they're still going to have that ramp up period. They're not just going to be throwing each other's bodies around on Monday and the first day of padded practices. So I don't know. Maybe this weekend, especially, they're going to have a day off and then they get back into that game of pads. I just want to see that nastiness from this team right now, because I know everybody's just been waiting to get to this moment where, you're playing real football. Let's say, everybody complains about the fact the OTAs, the mini camps, and this start of training camp, you're not in pads right now. So all the speculation or stats or things we're looking at really don't mean a whole lot right now.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for tomorrow is offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah, for sure. My eyes are going to be glued to Trevor Penning.
Yeah, and it's going to be tougher to see what he's doing because he's in the middle now. It's easier when the tackles are a little easier to watch.
Banks is another one that we haven't said a peep about.
Yeah, well, there's just nothing to say right now. Now, there will be, and we'll find out. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Noah Fant, he came in for a visit. We still haven't heard anything high or low. I'd be very surprised.
I was going to say he hasn't signed anywhere, huh?
I mean, I'd just be surprised if this is the destination. Like, veteran players typically don't land somewhere unless it is a clear starting job or an opportunity to win at a high level right away. And if there's another offer out there and it's from a team that you feel like has a better situation for you, which most teams probably will, because, it's like you're not signing him to take over for Juwan Johnson. Like, he's going to be second fiddle to Juwan Johnson. So most veteran players in his situation would probably rather wait for an injury or retirement, like Julian Blackmon, than say, yeah, I'm going to sign to be a backup on a team that no one thinks is going to win.
I'm excited. The Twitter spheres put out news. Adam Schefter, we're going to see Eli Apple week 2 in the Superdome. He's signing with the 49ers.
Oh, poor San Francisco.
I love it.
I wonder if he's going to like how it smells there.
Definitely one of my all-time heels in Saints land.
Yeah, seriously. Even Sean Payton was trolling Eli Apple. But all right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Inside Black and Gold. We'll be coming at you later in the week with some padded practice notes. And then I'll be going out to California pretty soon. I mean, it's like a week and a half away, and I am not prepared in any form or fashion. I do have a flight booked, so I got that. But
hey, man, you spent, what was it? How many days last year out there?
26.
26, and it's significantly lower this year. You can survive it.
Yes. Oh, I'm not worried about surviving it. It's just like it's just creeping up on me, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I guess I'm going to the airport. Yeah.
Right,
anyway.
right. No, good times in Cali, baby.
But we'll get some more episodes before that. I'll be back upstairs when we record those.
You'll be let out the cellar.
I'll kick these vagrants out of my house and continue but building my card collection, you know.
Yeah, and what again for the folks that are coming out to camp that want that Kendra card? What do they got to do? Just track you down?
First person who asks for it, they get it.
There you go. Find Jeff if you're at practice tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, but be nice about it. Because I'm gonna be sweating. Anyway, all right. Who dat? Go Saints.
Later, folks. Have a good one.
Peace.